Hello, welcome back to Read Becca. This is my weekly catch up on everything that I read and I'm currently reading. I am a little behind, so let's dive right into my books. So first of all, one I forgot last week, I did finish my e-arc of Boys, Beasts, and Men by Sam J. Miller. I think I'm going to do a standalone review of this, so I won't talk too much about it here, but this is a speculative, very queer short story collection, and it, I would say, was a 5-star collection for me. It was really phenomenal. And for me, a 5-star collection of short stories is really, there were no duds. So I connected with some more and some less, but they overall were extremely good stories. So yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. The next thing that I read on audio was a kind of chunky one, and this was The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. Yet again, I don't think I'm going to talk about it here. I want to talk about, I think, this and Miss Percy's Guide to the Care and Feeding of British Dragons together, maybe because they're very similar in style and tone and setting. So this one is historical fantasy, I would say. It's sort of a mystery fantasy where we have Sherlock Holmes and Watson, but really the focus is this group that's coming together of the daughters of mad scientists, like famous literary mad scientists that you would know. So Mary Jekyll is the main character at the start, and this is set up as one of the ladies is writing a manuscript that details this story of their coming together, and then every so often they will start interjecting. One character will interject and then another character will interject on her interjections, and so there's a lot of these quirky, funny asides, but I just really enjoyed this. It was a very fun ride, and this is a whole series now, so I definitely want to continue on with this one. So then in my Picture This reading, I didn't get to the Tea Dragon Society books. I want to really be able to give them some time, and I haven't been able to get focus and time for doing that lately for those books. So yeah, just too much going on. So I did pick up a different one at the library, and that is in my Anaana's Amautik. I think that's a very an abrupt end, which I like. And that is Inuktitut language. So the Amautik is this it's like a child wearing garment with a very large hood that the child is worn on your back. And Anaana is a mother. So this is very simple and repetitive. It, I think, is for much younger children, so it didn't do too much for me, but it's got that same line in my Anaana's Amautik. Every page, it starts with that. So I think very young children love that repetition. I love the art to this. I don't like the black mouth though, it's a little creepy. But I thought this was just really beautiful. And it's a child talking about the feelings of safety and comfort and home that they get from being inside the Amautik. And so this was really interesting. The author is an Inuit writer, originally from Nunavut, Nadia Sammurtok. And Lenny Lishchenko, the illustrator here, I did not know this when picking it up, but is Ukrainian immigrant to Canada. So that's obviously very timely. But I thought this was fine. It was a little younger than my reading level, but I did really enjoy it. And I then went on to look for videos of things about Amautik, and found a really cool video of someone sewing Amautik for, I'm assuming for sale, and was doing a custom one. And so I will share that video down below because it was really cool to me. So yeah, very interesting stuff. And then, falling book. And then I also read Dear Memory by Victoria Chang, and this is Letters on Writing, Silence, and Grief. And this is nonfiction letters, as it says, but Victoria Chang is a poet, so it is very poetic. And it also is somewhat mixed media because we have sections that are photos or documents, and she's edited some of them. You can see in this one she's got the same picture but with a face edited, this one with the whole person edited. And I think that's kind of signifying the loss of a person. And you can see there are little bits of handwritten text over it forming poems, basically. But the letters are each a page or two for the most part. So here we've got a document and then a letter to her grandmother. So that's what the format is pretty much. I was very mixed on this because I think, like a short story collection, I connected with some and I didn't connect with some. I feel like it should have maybe been edited or filtered down a little bit just because it felt very cohesive, except for this couple letters that were to teachers. So she has multiple letters to teachers in here or workshop leaders, and those, I feel like she could have done a separate collection on poetry and it would have made more sense. Here, if she had kept it down to just the stuff that's connected to heritage and family and being Asian American, it would have had a lot more impact because I kept kind of getting out of the flow when she's just stopping to talk about her experience as a poet, really. And some of those that were to teachers or about poetry were directly linked to her experience as an Asian American. There was a really powerful one that did engage with the idea of Asian American or really authors of color being mistaken for each other by either readers or other people in the publishing industry, and what that means, how that makes them feel, times that she's experienced it and times that other people have experienced it. Yeah, so I think that one had a place in here and was really good, but the other ones just kind of broke the flow in terms of my reading experience. So ultimately, I think I failed to emotionally connect with this as much as I wanted to, so I liked it. I thought it was very good. I think there's a lot of inherent value to reading this for her experience with processing her family and her immigrant heritage and her family's past, because she is writing to people she's lost, things she's found out about their lives before they came to America. Yeah, so I think it is very good, but yeah, I failed to get that full emotional connection that I really, really wanted. So that is what I read. What I'm reading, I'm still reading Miss Percy's Guide to the Care and Feeding of British Dragons, as I said up front. That one's, it's a 400-something page book, so it's going to take me a little while. I'm reading it pretty slowly on my phone, actually. Then I've got Appleseed. I was feeling very slumpy and reading really slowly, so I only made some progress on it finally at the end of this week, but I am now down to about 100 pages left in this one, and this one's a chunker. And I also started, and I'm absolutely loving Palimpsest by Catherynne Valente. It's really, really good. So those are what I've got as far as my week. So you may not have noticed, but I did not post this on Caturday. It's Sunday, and hopefully this will actually be up on Sunday because I have Pathfinder today, so I'm trying to get this uploaded, processed, and everything before I leave. But if not, it'll be very late. Not you all care. I did post my May TBR, so you have seen what will be coming up very soon once I'm making some more progress in everything else. And the reason for that is because yesterday was Indie Bookstore Day, so I went and spent a big chunk of my day. The drive to the indie bookstore that I went to is a good 30-45 minutes, so not insignificant, not huge, but it's one that meant between that and browsing for an hour or a little more than an hour, it was a good 3.5 hours of that. So I did that, then I ran home, walked the dog, fed everybody, and left again to go to the movie theater to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. Finally, I have been wanting to go see this for weeks. Was thinking it's one that I really am ready to finally return to a movie theater for, and I've been checking theaters for weeks and not been able to find a showing that was empty enough for my liking, really. And I finally got a showing where there were couples booked in every row from the middle over on one side, and then the whole other side was completely empty, so I was able to get a whole side to myself, basically. That was great. But it was, oh my god, so worth it. If you have not seen it, I mean, it's incredibly bizarre. It's like a multiverse concept movie, and it's really phenomenal. Like, everything about it is just on point. So I'm so glad I made it out to see it in the theater, because you really do want to see it in a theater for sure. So so that took up my whole day yesterday. So I'm very much catching up today on all the stuff I didn't get done yesterday, because it's a really long movie. It's like 2 hours. It doesn't feel like it. It really flew by. So I lost my day yesterday basically. So I've already lost a little bit of my morning, and now I have just a couple hours to get this done, get all my chores caught up, and then leave for my D&D game. And so that will be the rest of my day. So if not, I will leave this, I'm sure, processing and get it published out tonight after Pathfinder. But otherwise, the week was rough in terms of the world, in terms of work. My work was really hectic for the first part of the week, and then it was a kind of a dead standstill. And fortunately, that translated into the second half of the week being much better for reading, where I was actually able to focus. But the first half of the week was just very demoralizing. So I don't think I really have anything significant to talk about. There was so much going on with different trials that are major, different political things that are going on. But like the one thing I have to mention, because it just is such an encapsulation of what's going on in our country in the US. We had on one hand a group that were trying to stop a death sentence execution, and so it sounds like that happened. I didn't keep up on it too much, but like, so that was going on, number one. And then on the other hand was this sheriff who advertised out there to shoot intruders in your home, people who are breaking and entering, and just to save money for the county. And I can't remember where it was. I'm sure it was Texas or Florida. Where else? And that just, as I said, that really encapsulates the division, what's happening in the US so well, because we're very much living in two different worlds, two complete different realities, where one group has decided that, humanity has inherent value, and that people should be given a chance, that errors are made, that we should fight for life in every case. And the other have decided that you aren't entitled to a jury of your peers, that property crime is punishable with a death sentence, that a property owner is judge, jury, and executioner, that people don't have inherent value and aren't worth trying to rehabilitate, that a death sentence for a mistake is okay. Yeah, just so much there, that it's just completely separate views that there's no way to reconcile that, really. So I don't have a conclusion there other than, that is the reality. And I have been, thinking that for a very long time when we talk about these things like breaking and entering, has been a topic on my mind for a long time, where it's just property. Like, the idea that there are people who genuinely live in fear of people constantly, of people breaking into their home and like attacking them. That's not reality. That's not a thing that happens commonly. It happens very rarely. People are usually breaking in when no one is home. They're there to get property, and property is not that important. I have insurance. Most people do have insurance for their home, and like, you can get that property replaced. If someone is desperate enough to do that, either because of unfortunate circumstances in their life or even bad choices, they probably need it more than I do. And like, I just can't reconcile a person who lives in that reality where they're in constant fear of someone breaking in and attacking them, because that just is not a thing. That's not a thing that's happening on a regular basis. There's no mass epidemic of home invasions and attacks. I don't know. It's very difficult to be walking through the world and knowing that I'm surrounded by people, you know, living in a fairly conservative area. I live in a very progressive city, or parts of the city. I'm surrounded by conservatism, and it's extremely strange to walk through a populated area, or, you know, even just going out to the grocery store and knowing you're surrounded by people who think that way. So yeah, that's that's why I can't read this week. So yeah, I think that is really it for my week. It's been a mentally heavy week for sure. In watching stuff, because everything was so heavy, I got right back onto The Amazing Race. I think I'm down to the last season that's available, other than the very final season, which I already watched. So I'm gonna be very bummed when I run out of that. And as I said, I also went to see the movie, so that took up a bunch of time. So I haven't really watched very much else. In recommendations, I'm gonna have to go get my notebook. Hang on. In Rex, I mentioned already the Amautik sewing video, so that will be linked down below. And I would highly recommend that you go check out Gunpowder Fiction and Plots. Scott did a wonderful video on everything in canon in 3 minutes, and it's hilarious and brilliant. It saves me some time on reading all the books, because now I know what they're all about. So definitely go check that out. My indie bookstore day stuff, I'm not going to include any of the footage here. I did get really, really great clips of walking through the bookstore. My indie bookstore is fabulous. So I'm going to do a separate video that will have a haul from that, as well as the couple things I've picked up this first quarter, and the footage from indie bookstore day, walking through the bookstore and everything. So you'll get to see that, but I just won't include it here. What is included is building the cat wheel. So that has been going very well this week. Unfortunately not for the correct cats. So I've been exclusively trying to train Rue, and unfortunately Coco and Ripley have both totally figured out the wheel. So yeah, it's gonna take some time with Rue, but that is highly expected. When you start with this, you kind of just want to get them familiar with it and comfortable moving around near it. And we're there within a week, so that's pretty happy as far as like Rue's progress. He's gonna take some time, but yeah. So that is it for my week, and enjoy the clips from my week. I was brushing Coco. I turned into a maximum flop. Got his head hanging off of the chair. Rue is entranced. Coco was gonna put together the wheel for me. Are you blocking me? It's very cool. Just all goes together with these little snaps. And just and I can put that slides and locks. Very neat design. Ripley's judging me. You were never gonna use that wheel on you. See who takes the lead. Some treats on the wheel. You have a treat? Yeah, Rue. What is it? I know. I'm still not expecting everyone's freaked out, so I got some cat food. Give everybody a little friendly with the toy. Okay, Ripple. Ripley just fully figured it out on her own. I wasn't even trying to get her. Come on, she just had to. She had to in order to get up here with Rue. Trying to get good girl, Ripley. Whoa. Alright, come on. Come on, keep going. Come on, keep going. Good, Ripley. Come on, girl. Come here. Come on. Good job. Whoa, it's a roller coaster. Okay. Here you go, bud. Oh, you got a whole face full of it. Here you go. Here. Come on, here you go. Alright. Bradley, you did so good. Here you go. Here you go, one more time. Good girl, you did a few good steps. Is it unclear on that thing? There you go. Bradley's just waiting for more treats. She's so good.